always happy to see some of our European boys when they able to get family in for the senior day.
Right. Mikey Rowe had his mom and grandmother in. And good lads. Our lads are some of the finest lads you'll ever see. And as you predicted, crowd just keeps on swelling. Every time I look over, somebody's walking across the field, walking around the creek there to us.
It must be like European holiday to come over to the States for all the lads, because on the developmental squad, Oren, one of our lads from Northern Ireland, his parents are here too. I actually saw them over on the bench. They're all sitting over there as a family watching today's match as well.
No score in this one. And here's kind of each team feeling their way around.
Young Harris wanting to throw. Good job by Quifeet.
You feel like right now, John, you look down on the field and you see who we've got out there, that maybe that this is the first time all year that we have really had the nucleus together. Carl been out for a while. We've had some injuries with Macca, with Danny Fisher.
Alex Jack was out for a while.
Alex Jack was out, yep. So it seems like you look down and seems like maybe you've got the lads that maybe going in you thought would be there, which you look through the year and wow, yes, in Vanderplam, Alex Fend, those guys, which Alex out there tonight, of course, but they have really given Young Harris a lot of depth this year. Corner kick coming from Macca.
I believe it's just going to be a throw in.
Okay.
Yes, sir. There was a couple possible fouls right there by the Patriots, and the referee having none of it. One outside the box, one inside the penalty area. Instead, just gives Young Harris the throw.
And it go in. Beautiful job, Mikey Rowe.
That's goal number 20 on the season for the senior.
You know, I was just getting ready to say, sometimes with Macca, his throw-ins can be as more effective than some people's kicks.
Well, it definitely was. He had the long throw. We had two players at the front post. I couldn't see which two they were. One of them got the flick on, and Mikey was on the run and just buried it in the back of the net.
So Mikey with his 20th goal of the season, and that puts him, let me see, alone in second place in Young Harris scoring, right?
I believe that's correct. I believe he is all by himself. They mentioned before the match that he was at 19, which was tied for second. So now he's going to be straight up sole second. And that's absolutely wonderful for Mikey.
And, John, when you climb this ladder, you're talking about climbing a very illustrious ladder.
But it most definitely is. Right now, the leader on that ladder is playing for Louisville City FC and scoring goals for them.
His 20th of the season. Assisted by number 14, Saba Andreas.
Saba with the assist.
Number 3, Macaulay King.
Macaulay getting the secondary assist with the throw.
Young Harris leads 1-0.
And that was Saba's fourth assist on the season to go along with 5 goals. So Young Harris leads 1-0, and John, all of a sudden you look over and those bleachers are pretty well full.
They're very full, Tommy. I'm surprised that we've even got this much today with the weather conditions the way they are. I'm absolutely happy to see it.
Absolutely.
But I am surprised.
Well, you know, you were hoping when you got this big of a senior class that's had such a good career, and then throw in the fact that they're 14-0, got a chance to run the regular season out at 15-0. Ranked number 2 in the nation, one of the nation's premier players. We can just go on and on and on. So good to see a good crowd, even though, wow, it's raw down here. And I think I've told you this before. My great-grandfather used to own this property, and my grandfather told me when I was a kid that this is where the wind was invented at. And I can believe it sometimes because it can be calm up on the main campus and you come down here and the wind will knock you over. So it's that kind of night.
I can believe that it was invented here, but I'm here to tell you, come January and February, it was perfected at Mike Caldwell Memorial Stadium in Blairsville. That to me has got to be the windiest field in the state during soccer season for the high school boys. I've invested a lot of money in wind protective gear for our games over there. Young Harris looking to press again, and there it is.
Score! Carlos Gomez.
Carlos off an assist from, I believe that was Alex Jack.
And Young Harris coming out hot tonight, 2-0 quickly, getting it from their primary goal scorers, our number 1 and 2 scorers on the season. That is Carlos's 11th goal of the season, and Alex Jack picking up his 5th assist, and Young Harris leads 2-0.
I believe they've noticed something in the last few minutes, and I've seen it as well. They're finding space on the outside and able to play the ball in, and our lads in the middle, whether it be Mikey or Saba or Carlos, they're finding pockets, and Francis Marion's just not picking them up. We're picking our heads up, finding them, and playing right to them.
And what I'm seeing as well is right now the body language does not look good for Francis Marion. They got the heads hung.
Well, they've let Young Harris put 2 in the last couple minutes. That's always going to be deflating for any team, especially, I mean, they started off well.
Right.
Good job by Shelsby there to get the ball out. He was under pressure. It was not an easy ball to him to handle.
2-0.
Young Harris still not satisfied. They're pushing for more.
Bernie on the left side gives it up to Danny Fisher down in the corner.
Fisher with a good overlap run. Young Harris bring it back out, recycle it around, look for something. Now we've got Feeney in the middle. Looked like he was wanting to try and strike up a shot right there. Mishit it, almost fell right to Mikey Rowe in step, though.
Yeah.
I do firmly believe that was an attempt at a shot, though, not a pass. Of course, if Mikey would have, taken it and put it in the back of the net, I'd have gladly given him the assist.
Absolutely.
Would have said it was a pass all the way. Young Harris is just doing a much better effort of finding first and second balls than what Francis Marion's doing at the moment. I believe, like you said, Tommy, their body language is showing it. They're deflated with giving up those 2 quick goals.
And, we talk about the weather a lot, and we talk about this a lot up in the booth. This is kind of the weather that our lads like. I mean, this is what they're used to. This is what they grew up in. And, boy, they spent most of the season playing at 90 degrees, but really look fresh and comfortable tonight.
They do, but, I mean, if you look down Francis Marion's roster as well,
yeah,
Sweden, Northern Ireland, Germany, England, Spain, France, Australia. This might be a little cold for Australia, but Norway, Sweden, Ireland, England, Belgium, England, Denmark.
Yep, very much the same recruiting territory that Coach McKeever uses, yeah.
Abu Dhabi, yeah, they're definitely not used to this weather. Neither is Clearwater, Florida, or Trinidad and Tobago.
No. But it is a cold, balmy day. I started out, John, 10 o'clock with 2 lacrosse games and then a softball game. There would have been a baseball game in there, but they decided to reschedule tomorrow. They left the tarp off, but basketball game to go to after this one. But, hey, which you may think, well, you get to go inside, but anybody that's been in the YHC Rec Center knows this. Basketball over there is not an indoor sport when it comes to the weather, right, John?
No, it's not.
Not a warm place. But it's warm here. It's going to get so warm. I'm starting to thaw out, man. I've been iced over since about 10:30 this morning.
You're starting to thaw out, and I'm glad I wore a short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to jerk this sweatshirt off, but maybe we can make it to halftime.
Speaking of, what are we at on the clock right now?
Where are we at, John? A little over 24.
Executive producer John C. Moon, thank you.
Yeah, I guess he has took up that role because Philip Haynes, he is missing in action on us. We hadn't seen him the whole season.
Yeah. I went to school with Philip.
Philip's a nice little man.
He is.
Two-0 your score. Young Harris with goals from Rowe and from Gomez.
Nice little man, probably quite inspirational if you stop to think about it. Somebody in his situation. When can you tell me, Tommy or John, when's the last time you've ever seen him angry?
I never have.
Exactly.
Never have. He's always pleasant.
Always a smile on his face, always willing to talk to anybody.
Yep. Well, Philip, everywhere you're at, we hope you'll get back and join us because we miss you.
May write him in for the governor's race.
He would be a good one.
Looks like Francis Marion's dropping back. They're going to ease off of the high press a little bit. Somebody scores 2 quick goals on you the way the Mountain Lions did, it'll force you to do that. You're going to have to act a little more defensively. They were getting stretched easily.
Today, by the way, is Family Week end at Young Harris, and a lot of people on campus. And next week will be homecoming. There'll be a lot of people on campus. But our lads will not be on campus as they will be down in Evans, Georgia in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament.
Hopefully winning the Peach Belt Conference Tournament again. Chrissy really didn't have a choice there. He had to just swing at it with the foot. That settling touch, I think, by Danny really forced Chrissy where he couldn't use his hands in that one.
That was a little dangerous down there, wasn't it?
It was. It was a well-taken free kick from the Patriots, but excellent job by Shelsby that time coming out and collecting the ball.
Yep, I think of what you always taught me last year. If you come out on that, you got to own it. So he owned it.
He most definitely did.
Just a freshman out of Oslo, Norway. And he has been good.
Probably only weighs about 137 pounds soaking wet, but then again, he's about 6'4" as well, so he covers a lot of space.
Got a huge wingspan, don't he?
Definitely. Something you don't see often at this level is a foul throw. Young Harris will take advantage of that. We've got a clock stoppage for the moment.
Yeah, looks like Carl Brandstrom had to come off. Looks like he was limping a little bit. Don't know. Hopefully it's nothing with the knee. It seemed to be more of a hammy type thing. Don't know if that's what's going on, but definitely something's going on. We're kind of blocked out from what we can see down in both bench areas.
Well, if we could get that listener to our program here that's just independently wealthy and wants to be a benefactor, donate a few $1 million so we can have a new press box on the other side of the pitch, we would greatly appreciate that.
Right.
We might even name it after you.
Sure. Absolutely.
Well, I heard somebody say a head injury, so.
There is going to be a substitution. It's going to be Sondre Olsen, I believe.
Yes, Sondre on for Bernsey. So they said head injury with Bernsey. He took a knock to the noggin.
Coming in for Young Harris, number 19, Sondre Olsen.
Good job by the Patriots that time coming down the sideline. There were two players able to break down 4 Young Harris defenders. Eventually, though, they lost it over the touch. Young Harris with the throw. Good pressure again from the Mountain Lions. Able to cause the turnover. Well, Tommy, I know you're excited for basketball. What do our prospects look like? We've got what, 2 new coaches on for each side now?
We do. Our men, Jeremy Courier from Pfeiffer University, taking over the helm. He is very, to say the least, up-tempo, averaged about 100+ at Pfeiffer. Only 3 returning players. He's brought a lot of guys in. They've recruited well. I think the thing is probably just going to have to take some time to get meshed, to get used to the system. Players get used to each other. But got some really good guys. Couple Division I transfers. Very athletic, not big. He don't go for big. He goes for quick and for shooters.
And that's what it sounds like for he's averaging 100 a game.
Yeah, I had a chance to watch him last Saturday against King College out of Bristol, Tennessee, which is generally one of the better programs in the Southeast. Played them well, lost by pretty close margin down at Emmanuel. Playing Newberry tomorrow, but I think by the time conference rolls around, I think Young Harris is going to be a factor. I really do. Our women team under Jim Davis, former Clemson University head coach, they're young, and what really hurt is the 2 people he was counting on for point guards. One took a medical red shirt with some health problems, and the other a knee injury that's got her out for the year. So we don't have a point guard, which is never a good thing. I think for Young Harris fans with their women is to look at this as watch how far Coach Davis brings them in the course of the year. Don't judge the season right off the bat on wins and losses. I know that some will say, well, that's the only way you can judge it. No, not necessarily. You just, you're in a rebuild.
Judge on progress made throughout the season.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to be okay. I do think the men, I don't want them to go so far as say it's contend regular season. I do think they could be a top 4 team, though. I really do.
Well, that'd be good for the college.
Though, I tell you.
Still fairly young program as far as programs are considered.
It really is. I think we're either in our 9th or 10th year. So, yeah, it is. It is a young program. These things take time. Had a chance to watch our lacrosse teams in an alumni game today, and I think good things for both of those. Our women's, they have won the Gulf South 3 years in a row. So I think another game. They've got a lot of pieces coming back. Men, oh, wow, they got a lot of players, a lot of pieces, a lot of freshmen. See how they mesh in. Our golf team, our men, a Union County native, Caleb Kelly, really brought in a great class. They went over to North Georgia and won their invitational and led it from start to finish. They are one of the top-ranked teams in the Southeast, and, I'm thinking that
well, when I saw the last rankings come out, they were at number 10.
Right.
And I'm not sure if that's Southeast or national.
I think that's national. I think they're
good.
2 Southeast maybe.
And you speak of Caleb, I actually saw him last weekend out at Old Union Golf Course. The men's team was practicing. They were leaving last Saturday evening to go down to have a tournament that started, I believe it was in Carrollton, and they won that tournament as well. So,
yeah.
That's always exciting when we've got winning programs all around the place at the college here.
Yeah, it is. And, of course, the team that you're seeing on the field, they're the standard bearer, no doubt about it right now.
No question.
You just have to think. When you think of this team, what do you think the prospects are moving forward? Well, you're the number 2 team in the nation. Hey, I've just got national championship fever, and I don't think it's premature to say that.
No, I don't either. We finished the season last year in the top 8. We were, one of the last 8 teams in the tournament. This year, hopefully, we'll be the last team in the tournament.
And, of course,
I hope to have to watch these lads in Pittsburgh in a month.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if they go to Pittsburgh, I'll be there. Some way, somehow, I'll make it.
I'm thinking much the same. I actually mentioned it to my wife the other day.
You know, let me ask you this. I mean, you've been around this program a long time, and we talk about, you know, our lads, how many of them we're losing this year. We lost some good pieces last year.
We've lost good pieces the last 2 and 3 years.
And just it's never been a rebuild. It's a reload. But
It really is. That's a much better term for it. Is not so much rebuild, but reload, or reform. Coach McKeever will look at it in the offseason, see what's came in, and then decide formations and what our team will work best. He did that this year. You know, we're running a different formation than we have in the past.
shot coming. He gets in. Maka off of the sidebar. Oh, my. Whoa, he floated that thing in. It couldn't have been placed any more perfectly.
No, that was side netting just inside the right post. That was absolutely wonderful strike.
And the
Again,
lads,
another senior goal today.
yeah, the lads on senior night feeling it tonight here.
Number 3 with the 3rd goal of the match.
And that is Maka's first on the year.
I believe that's correct, yes.
That was perfect. I mean, that could not have been placed any more perfect. From the left side, oh, it just looked like a floating duck coming in and just hit perfectly.
Well, I didn't notice who played the ball to him, but when it got to him, he took a touch, and then defense just kind of parted ways about like the Red Sea. He looked up, and I can just imagine his eyes getting as big as the soccer ball. He just took the strike. It floated and did a little bit of a curl out to the right away from the keeper and went inside net. That was absolutely gorgeous.
Wow. So Young Harris really feeling it tonight. Got the good crowd. The weather's the way they like it. And, you know, had that kind of wake-up test Wednesday, and we look really sharp and fresh tonight.
They're definitely feeling it. I spoke with Coach Gray before the match and asked him how the boys were feeling. He said they're absolutely buzzing, so he expected big things from them tonight.
Yep. Yeah, I was over at the softball game, and, you know, when the lads do their walk-up from their dressing quarters up at the athletic building there, just up the street, James stopped and he said, "Tommy, you're not coming to the game tonight?" And I said, "Of course, James." I had to run up to him. I didn't want him to run to me.
Yes.
So I said, "Of course I'm coming. You guys are my guys. You know I'm going to be here." But you could tell they were pumped. Talked to Saba. You could really tell they were really pumped about this one. 3-0 your score, around 13 minutes to go.
Still pumped. Just you look at that reaction from Maka right there from getting pulled to the ground. He's wanting more.
Yeah.
They're not finished.
No, not at all. Yeah, they're feeling it. It's
I could potentially see this one being a 6 or 7-0 game, Tommy.
Yeah, like sharks with blood in the water. You can tell they're just really on it. And here comes Mikey. He's got a little breakaway.
And
it
the
goes
chip.
in. Wow. How in the world did that get in there? Man, he just put the perfect amount of loft and touch on there.
I said he stayed on side. That'd be from Saba. Absolutely wonderful job settling and picking out Mikey on the run. Mikey stayed on side, looked up, saw the keeper coming, and chipped him. Absolutely wonderful. This could get ugly soon, Tommy.
Yeah, it really could. Body language on a 1 to 10 for FMU right now is about a -3. It don't look good at all.
No, it doesn't look good at all.
4-0 you score, and the lads are feeling it tonight on senior night. But you go back, and I don't want to talk too long because we might score here in another 30 seconds or so. But, you know, you look at who you lost on that defensive line. You lost Sam Jones. You lost Josh Pooh. As a striker, you lose Marco Micheletto. I mean, you lost some pretty good pieces. Did you expect 15-0 coming in with the schedule that you're going to have to play with all the L's that you got to deal with the Lincoln Memorials, with the Landers, with the Limestones? I mean, great season.
Realistically, you have to feel like you can come into this today as a 15-0.
Right.
Now, again, you know, you always want to be that way.
Assisted by number 11, Carlos Gomez.
Again,
at a time of 32:04, Young Harris leads 4-0.
But a lot of pieces left, a lot of new pieces, and, man, Coach McKeever and staff had them right in. This is a great touch right here.
Can't get to where we're at now by not having confidence. You definitely got to believe in yourself. You got to believe you can come in being this good this late in the season. Alex Jack coming out. Manis, another one of our seniors, getting a chance to see the field today. And in a non-traditional position for him. He normally plays on the defensive line. We've put him out on the wing.
Yeah, good to see Manis out there. Great kid. Been here the whole 4 years.
Manis Belgamir, yes. His first 2 years he spent on the developmental squad, and then the last 2 years he's been on the varsity team. We talked about him a little bit before the match. He looks the same today as he did 4 years ago.
He really does. Senior out of Loganville, Georgia. Had his parents with us tonight.
Excellent job by the Mountain Lions playing out of that press from the Patriots.
Yeah, Mr. Steady, Val Feeney. Beautiful job getting it out. Beautiful pass down the field, just a little bit too long for Saber.
We've got, Mikey with 21 goals on the season now. See if we can get him a third hat trick of the season, Tommy.
4-time Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week. Is that right, I believe?
I believe that's correct. 4 times and 1-time National Player of the Week this season.
And, of course, it hasn't come out for this Wednesday night's game. With a hat trick, you've certainly got to – I don't think it's come out. You would think – I mean, you know, the guy got a hat trick, so –
absolutely happy for the lad being able to get back in the score sheet tonight. He didn't have the best of matches at North Georgia. They did a good job of keeping him marked the whole time. He wasn't able to see a whole lot of freedom. They knew what he was coming into the match, and they definitely had a game plan to try and keep him out of it, and they were successful for the most part in that. He had a couple opportunities, probably could have and should have finished 1 or 2 of them, but it didn't happen that way. So big for him to be back on the score sheet.
Right. Had 3 down at Flagler. And, of course, the 3 goals at Young Hatfield over, Gomez, Corfich, and who was the first? At North Georgia.
Oh. You're putting me on the spot, Tommy.
Was it Saber?
I know Saber put one off the crossbar.
Or maybe was it Val, maybe? I remember looking.
Yeah, Val had a goal.
Val had to go. Okay.
Yeah, Saber had a great opportunity. Ended up putting it straight off the crossbar. Yeah, I believe that was Val's 3rd of the season the other night at North Georgia. Another one of our developmental lads, senior this year, Paul Young, about to enter the match. Well, I thought he was. Yeah, there he comes.
There he comes. He's going in, as is Costa.
Costa, again, another one off the developmental squad that worked his way up. Excellent job by all 3 of these young men, staying with it for 4 years and working their butts off to make it up here.
Absolutely. Also checking in for Francis Marion is going to be Michael Baugh, freshman out of Brussels, Belgium, and number 24, Max Lindquist, a sophomore out of Helsingborg, Sweden. And here's Carl Branston, came out with a bit of a head injury, and I believe James Thomas as well has come out of the game.
I don't think James was in the game to start with.
Never was out there.
No,
that's right.
No, Carl was starting in his
that
position.
James kind of nursing the hammy, right?
Correct. I figured Coach McKeever was going to see what we could do without him, and if we have the opportunity to rest him and not take a chance of getting him hurt, then great. But if we need him, then he'll come in off the bench.
Young Harris leads 4-0. We're getting late in the first half.
Have a substitution at the next ball out of play. Both teams substituting, so.
Shot coming, Shelsby, great save.
Great save by Chrissy. Little breakdown on the Young Harris defense there. Patriots did a good job of breaking them down. We'll have those substitutions now.
And I think we might be having a third for Young Harris. I think Mehdi Hadan's getting ready to, no, excuse me.
Alex Tahate.
Alex Tahate's going to check in.
Coming in for Francis Marion, number 17, Michael Baugh, and number 24, Max Lindquist.
Coach McKeever deciding to go with Alex in the cold weather since he's got the beard to stay warm.
Sure. And a good beard at that. Some people can grow a beard, some ought to leave it alone.
I leave it alone. I could only aspire to grow a beard like that.
Yeah, he's got a good one.
And Harris looking a little out of sorts the last minute or two. Defense hopefully has not turned off. There we go. Good job by
really
Olsen,
stepping
breakthrough.
up.
With the left just always rising. Young Harris get a chance to make their substitutions now.
Coming in for Young Harris, number 12, Alexi Tahit. Senior number 21, Costa Lopez. And senior number 30, Paul Young.
So Gomez, Andreasen, and Val Feeney going to check out here in the
They'll have a long halftime.
waning minutes of the first half. Young Harris leading 4-0. Goals coming from Gomez, from Micah, and from Mikey Rowe.
Mikey with the brace. Macca with just the absolute exquisite strike. Again, Young Harris, decent job playing through the pressure. They don't panic, they just play calm. Good job by Shelsby coming off his line recognition early on.
It is our last regular season game. We don't think it will be our last broadcast, but I do want to go ahead and say this. We want to thank Michael McCutcheon and all of the sports information staff that makes us look as good as we could possibly look. And I look at them down there in their boggins and their hoodies and their coats and their gloves, and I thank them for the good job they're doing while we're up here in this beautifully heated room.
Yes, sir. Definitely thank them. They do a good job.
And I know in their heart of hearts that they would love to be up here with us. And I know in my heart of hearts that I have no desire to be down there with them as much as I like them.
No, I'll have enough of that outside stuff come January.
You're good up here, aren't you, ma'am? You're good. John, you're good up here? Definitely. Okay, I think we're all in agreement on that. We're glad to be where we're at.
Like the wind's picking up a little bit here at the, as you said, the origin of the wind.
Home place.
Home Valley.
Watch the leadership of Mikey Rowe out there. 4-0. He's still out there leading.
Directing traffic. That's what he does.
Not letting up in the least. Nice job. Was that Danny Fisher? No, that was Alex Finn. Just getting rid of the ball. Down in a dangerous area.
Patriots having a little more success breaking down the middle of the pitch
1 minute
against the Mountain
remaining.
Lions.
1 minute remaining. Corner kick coming for the Patriots.
Good job by Chrissy. Come out and get a hand on that.
Yep.
Completely disrupt the play.
Yeah, deflected it over to the other corner. Getting ready to count it down from 10.
7, 6, 5, 4.
We'll go into halftime. Young Harris Mountain Lions with a 4-0 lead
0.
over the Francis Marion Patriots.
Score at halftime, Young Harris.
Well, in this
4,
one, senior
Francis
night,
Marion,
last game of the
0.
regular season, the number 2 ranked in the nation, Peach Belt champ, regular season champions, Mountain Lion Nation, total domination.
Total domination.
You break it down, just Mountain Lions almost get past the 10 minutes, the kind of the breakdown stage. Just really found some seams in the defense, and they pounced on it.
They did. We did a good job after that first 10 minutes of feeling out. They did a good job of running the channels. They found open spots in the middle of the pitch, up around the penalty area, and we definitely took advantage of it. We bring the ball up, go out wide. Again, Mikey and Carlos doing a great job in the middle, finding channels and pockets of space, and we did absolutely wonderful jobs of picking them out.
So 4-0 is your halftime score on senior night here at the YHC Soccer and Lacrosse Field. We will take a break, and we'll be back for the second half. Don't go anywhere. Mountain Lion Soccer on the Mountain Lion Sports Network, powered by Ridgeline TV. second half underway. Young Harris leads 4-0. Goals from Young Harris from Mikey Rowe, from Carlos Gomez, and from Macaulay King. Micah with a beaut, his first of the season. 2 for Mikey already tonight. And some good news, John, I saw down on the sideline that Carl Brandstrom up moving around, so don't know if he will get back in or not, but he was moving around and being active, so looks we got a Francis Marion player.
I think at this point in this match we don't see Carl back.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Actually, I'm wrong. There he is right there. He's on the pitch right now.
All right. And, yeah, it's good that he's good. And you say that James Thomas could go if he had to.
He could if we needed him, but fortunately right now we don't need him. So rest him up. Don't take a higher risk of increasing the injury, and we'll just hopefully come away with this comfortable lead and a comfortable victory.
And speaking of James, my good friend, I want to say hello and thanks for listening in to his grandparents in Scotland, Mr. and Mrs. McDougall. They're checking us out today. Tonight, actually, it's probably about 1 or 2 in the morning there, but they're with us. And want to say to you, Mr. and Mrs. McDougall, your grandson, I know most of these kids on this campus, and James is one of the nicest, most well-mannered, pleasant young men I have ever had the opportunity to be around. So he's not out here tonight, and you may not see him tonight, but be proud of your grandson, as I know you are.
Went up and shook his hand during halftime, actually. It's the first chance I got to see him. So, again, I can only reiterate your sentiments on that young man.
4-0 your score. It has been all Young Harris in this one.
Young Harris with 7 shots in the first half, 4 of which finding the back of the net. Francis Marion only had 2. Corner kicks tied up at 2 apiece. Young Harris leads the foul count 4-3, and Young Harris also leads the saves. Chrissy with 1 save on 2 shots by Francis Marion.
And a good thing for Young Harris, able to get some seniors that don't see a whole lot of playing time. Costa Lopez, Manis got in, Paul Young got in. Manis played 12 minutes. Good student athletes on senior night, and good that Coach McKeever able to get them in early. And Manis's case, he played a lot of minutes, so.
He did.
Nice touch.
It's line in Kentucky, and he's just absolutely flabbergasted. He said the work rate of number 8 and number 3, he's talking about Val and Macaulay, he said was just absolutely insane.
Yeah, we don't call Val Mr. Steady for nothing, man. He is ram tough, solid as a rock. Seems like he never makes a mistake, and then which Macaulay, as was said in the
We went down 1-0, responded well, and come out with a 3-1 victory.
Now you're playing tomorrow, right?
No, that game got
canceled.
Originally it got canceled. We thought we had it rescheduled. The reschedule.
You do a great job, John. No question about it. Well, you just being you. You just lead by example. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, dangerous ball in. Flick just stays wide, though. Carlos Gomez going for his brace. Unfortunate not to get it. Well, Tommy, have you been able to find out? I know we start postgraduate degrees, and after the Christmas break, have you found out, are we going to become University of Young Harris or Young Harris University?
Well, you know, I haven't talked to anybody about that, but you would think in time it's got to be one or the other, don't it?
Yeah, I would think so. Unless they try to go the Dahlonega route and have 7 different names in 6 years.
Yeah. I know, you know, speaking of Truett McConnell, they've gone the TMU route, right?
They have.
But we will be starting, if my information is correct, a postgraduate in education. And I understand 4 to 5 more programs next year, if that's accurate.
That is what I've heard as well. So, yeah, along with, you know, the postgraduate degrees comes a new name. You're no longer a college; you become a university at that point.
Right. Maybe when we get into nationals here, if we're here at Young Harris, and we have every reason to believe that we will, maybe we can get Dr. Van Horn up. By the way, John, we thought –
I saw him down there earlier. Oh, that ball just over the crossbar.
Just over the crossbar. We thought we were going to have Young Harris graduate from last year, great defender, Josh Poole with us tonight, but he couldn't hang around. He was down with his girlfriend, Nikki Kernahan, for the alumni game, women's and men lacrosse. Got a chance to talk to him today, and I guess they were heading back to Canada. Not able to play right now, but he has got a job, I think he told me last year, with the developmental phase of Canadian national soccer team. So
I don't believe it, Josh. He was a great player. We would have loved to have had him here in the booth with us. Smart player, so I could definitely see him working with the developmental squad and doing a fine job of it as well.
Absolutely. A great defender here at Young Harris. Great career. You're pulling the tent out. Isn't that great?
I guess they think it's going to shield them from the cold.
That would have probably really been nice about 6 hours ago. Here we go. And he sneaks it in. Gomez.
Gomez with his brace for the match.
Young Harris up 5-0. Gomez, his second goal of the night, along with Mikey Rowe, both with 2. And Young Harris, our lads making their senior night a night to remember. It is good to see Bernie back out there.
5-0 Mountain Lions. Coach Gray was definitely correct when he said the lads were buzzing before the match. They were ready to play. I think
that goal is scored by Young Harris.
They took all the momentum they took from the double overtime win Wednesday night and just transferred into this one.
Assisted by number 14, Seba Andreasen.
Speaking of that match, I had a number of the developmental squad players that went over there to Dahlonega. Amir Rabai and Mikey Moran, a couple of the lads from my developmental squad. James Loggins as well. A bunch of people made that trip over.
Yeah, I understand Coach Dunn wanted to put together and got it done a student bus, a fan bus to go over.
The Purple Turtles, is I have found out, is what they call those 2 small buses that we have.
All right.
The Purple Turtles.
Well, I guarantee you, taking them across Blood Mountain, they were definitely turtles.
Well, I'm sure North Georgia enjoyed it because they were able to set the facilities record with 1,100 plus people.
Sure.
For a soccer match.
That's incredible, isn't it?
I absolutely love it. I'd love to see Young Harris break that. Now, back on the previous topic, though, Tommy, I think it's going to be a lot easier to just transfer from YHC to YHU.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, it's always been YHC, so I think YHU would be a whole lot. But it just got more of a ring to it than UIH. That don't sound good, does it?
No, that's kind of – it doesn't roll off the tongue properly.
Well, I definitely don't consider to be an expert on much of anything, but when you think about it in terms of your athletic program, you know, a lot of times maybe a player can redshirt. Maybe it's wise for him to redshirt. Might be a medical redshirt or whatever, but still, if they graduate on time, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I've got a year of eligibility left. You know, what am I staying for? Get out and, you know, start making some money. But all of a sudden.
Oh, and the Patriots able to bring one back. Young Harris fell asleep for a moment, switched off.
Yep. So Francis Marion on the board.
5-1 Mountain Lions. No, to your point, what you're saying, and to throw another possible kink in there, what if you graduate early?
Sure.
After 3 years, you've still got eligibility.
Got eligibility,
much like Marco Micheletto did last year. You know, he graduated early, still had a year eligibility, so he's with the Akron Zips this year.
Sure.
Then if you can do that and you still throw a red shirt in, if you've got the postgraduate degrees to offer that the players are wanting, they could potentially be with the program for 5 years.
Exactly, and that's huge. And now again, this is nothing official.
You see that all the time in Division I, and
Sure.
especially with football and basketball. Well, not basketball. Basketball's 1 year and everybody leaves, but.
And I don't know how accurate my sources are, and I'm not going to quote names or anything, but that business will be one of the eventually, if not next year, then eventually the business. And that's what a lot of these guys are majoring in is business and public policy. So, good fit.
At a time of 56-25. Young Harris leads 5-1.
Let's see if we can pull that one back right quick, Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to, it's a big night for the lads. You got a good crowd here. You got a lot riding. You don't want to crawl in flat here in the second half. Keep this good intensity level up.
Coming in for Young Harris,
Alex
12,
Tahe.
Alexi Tahi.
He will be replacing Carlos Gomez.
Now, several of our seniors, of our lads, again, don't quote me on my info, just from what I've heard, just in talking, but 3.5 years and they're done. I mean, they're finished up, and just goes to show what kind of student athletes these young men are.
Yes, quite a number of them will do that.
Noticing just in making mention that most of the lads are on Presidential Honor Roll.
Correct. We've got some highly intelligent players here at Young Harris. They take their studies very seriously.
Of course, you made mention Marco Micheletto graduated here in 3 years. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's really not.
Especially for a student athlete. I mean, because you got a double workload on you there.
Just speaks volumes to the type of character that we try to pull into this institution.
Yeah, and I'll make mention of one of our student athletes that's probably, I don't know, they may be through over at E.D. Rivers Field, but a young lady, a local girl actually from Hiawassee Dam School in Cherokee County, just across the line, Haley Shope, actually went to Kennesaw State on a softball scholarship. She was all-state performer in softball and in basketball, and her coach, Coach Lucas, came to Coach Davis and said, hey, I'd like for her to play basketball. Said she's one of our best softball players, but they tell me she's a better basketball player than softball. So she is doing two sports and still maintaining a very high GPA at a very hard college.
That is correct.
That's impressive.
Being from this area, I remember hearing her name quite a bit, seeing it in newspapers and radio stories, especially the sports broadcasts. And I heard her name quite a bit. So
yeah.
Yes. But I'm also happy to know that we can have that kind of player and person in this area, and they stay in this area to get a higher education as well.
Right. 5-1 your score. Shot coming, it's good. Mikey with the hat trick.
Make it 6-1.
Oh, me. Wow. Break that one down, John.
Ball played in. Francis Marion does a good job of finding a way to it. Mikey, I watched him. He picked his head up, watched the flight of the ball, knew where the guy was going to play it, and he had positioned himself just perfectly for what we call seconds and thirds, and just the full volley up in the top 90. Excellent job by him reading body language of the opposing player.
Young Harris, number 9.
22nd on the year.
Mikey Rowe.
3 hat
He started
tricks,
the
right?
game, 22nd of the season.
Yes.
At a time of 60-17.
I believe that may put him for contention for another Peach Belt Conference Player of the Week.
Yeah. No question. Who is the number 1 scorer?
In the schools?
Yes.
I'm sure that's Ilya Illich.
Ilya Illich,
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's
good.
at 28, I think.
Which you say still got a long way to go, but Mikey may have a whole lot more soccer to play here at Young Harris College.
Still a long way to go, but we've got at least 2 games.
Sure.
Hopefully,
Well, I think
hopefully
at least
about
3,
7 more.
Yeah. So, responded to that goal that we gave up a few minutes ago pretty quick.
Yes, I expected that from the lads. They're probably upset that they actually gave the goal up. They knew they switched off mentally, and the Patriots took advantage of it.
Number 14, Isaiah Lamont.
Isaiah Lamont making entrance for the Patriots.
Mikey, by the way, got his mom and grandmom here tonight on senior night.
Indeed, my wife is sitting over in front of them right now.
Great job, Alex Finn.
Still in the play, too. Does a great job of winning us a throw.
Coming in for Young Harris, number 23, Tim Payne.
Tim Payne, freshman out of Stockholm, Sweden.
Good to see him enter the match. You know, it says out of Stockholm, Sweden, but you talk to him and he definitely sounds English.
Okay.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, tell you a little story. Speaking of Sweden, Carl came through Chick-fil-A a few weeks ago at breakfast with a nice young lady from Cumming, Georgia, a friend, and she had him get a bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit, and he said, she's trying to make me Southern. I said, well, Carl, you come from the southern part of Sweden, right? He said, well, I do. And he said, well, you're Southern already. Just fill in. Carl's Burns is a great kid.
He
He's
is.
a wonderful young man.
And the water has started to fall, Tommy. Look across the pitch right now, and you can see the rain coming down.
Yes, it has. Kind of surprising. We weren't expecting that, were we?
That's just going to make it treacherous for the goalkeepers right now.
Yes, it is. And umbrellas pop up. Some people don't have umbrellas.
There it is, immediate pressure. Prince Marion does a good job to play out.
Glad to know I've already got a ride reserved up to the YHC Rec Center for a new thing at Young Harris, John, developmental basketball. JV basketball, taking on Andrew, a junior college down, I think, in the Albany area. And from what I've told, it's probably going to be a tough one for us. But nonetheless, situation came with Coach Kerr that he told Coach Dunn, said, I've got so many players wanting to come here and play, I'm having to turn some good ones away. And Coach Dunn told him, said, hey, wait a minute.
We don't ever want to do that.
No, we don't want to turn away good student athletes. So
No, Coach Dunn, being a former basketball coach himself, he understands exactly what that's about.
Sure. And like you've said many times on the show, we can look at least 3 lads out here tonight that came up through the developmental ranks and became varsity players.
Never know what you're going to get from a developmental program, or in some cases drafting from somebody from a tiny school. I mean, Brett Favre, for instance, or Jerry Rice. Both of those huge names in the NFL came from schools that nobody had ever heard of. And
Yeah, and you go back to the heyday of the Atlanta Braves when they were in their pennant run. Mark Lemke, second baseman, I think something like a 45th round draft pick.
yeah.
Just an afterthought.
Well, here's one for you, a 6th round draft pick. I think his name's Tom Brady.
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
He wasn't big on people's radars.
no. But look what happens.
Yeah, he may play till he's 80 years old.
Probably have 15 Super Bowl rings by
Yeah.
then.
So now we know somebody's weather app was working good. We know why the tent was put up now,
Yes,
right?
correct. Hopefully, Tommy, we don't have that dreaded word. I'm not going to say it.
No, don't even go there. Don't even go there. We had a rough start to the season with that dreaded word, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely. That was funny because that whole topic came up at the JV match that we had here Thursday. We played Belmont Abbey, and that was the first thing their coach came off the field and said, because it was raining when we finished that match too. He was like, I'm just glad we're not here past midnight tonight.
Right. (6-1) you score.
22:58 remaining.
Still a lot of time in this.
Younghurst with the throw.
Still relentless with the pressure, aren't we?
That's just our trademark. That's what we do. When you do that and you do it so well, why ever change it?
Right.
It has worked for us in the 15th match of the season now, so might as well keep going with it.
And it's worked well for Coach McKeever for how many years now? 12th year?
A number. Again, that's one of those decisions that after he figures out what kind of recruits he's got coming in and what kind of team he's got, you make that decision whether you're going to be a high-press team or not. It is all determined on the type of players that you have.
Sure.
Granted, I know he recruits to have that type of a team, but there's some instances it doesn't necessarily work out that way, and you have to make adjustments.
Well, I tell you, it just really goes to show how good he is at his craft when you bring players in like Schvend and like Kevin Kafik to fill in the holes and the voids that they had to.
Oh, very much.
Great job. And I'm wondering, I tell you, which I've missed a few games, as John reminded me when I came in a while ago, but wow, has Kevin Kafik been off the field this year? I mean, I can't remember very many seconds that he's been off.
No, not once we finally got eligibility cleared with him.
Right,
no.
right. Once he got going, yeah.
No, that's one of those positions that you don't tinker with. You don't. Once you've got your man set, he stays and he plays. Very much the same way as a goalkeeper. I mean, if you're in the midst of a blowout victory, then yeah, you might want to sub them, but otherwise you want to keep the continuity.
And I tell you, I mean, he has been so solid. Him and Sven both, really.
Both of them.
Back there. And
of course, Danny.
Yeah. Of course,
we had Danny last year, so
Sure.
that was a known quantity coming into the season. So
And you look at Kafik as a defender, 2 goals on the season, and one of those being one of the biggest goals of this year over at North Georgia this past
Coming in for
Wednesday.
practice, Marion,
Quite possibly
number
the biggest
15,
one of
Sure.
the season.
Funks.
That put us into overtime, and then, of course, you know, Carlos with the game winner.
He don't make that goal, we're not talking about 15-0 right now.
Correct.
18 and a half minutes to go. Young Harris leads 6-1. Hat trick Mikey Rowe, 2 goals Carlos Gomez. Other goal coming from Micah, his first goal of the season.
And an absolute beauty.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I would put. I'm not sure which one I think was better, Tommy. I'm not sure if Macca's strike from distance or Mikey's chip.
Yeah.
I really can't tell you which one I thought was better, both of which should be nominated for goal of the week.
Well, and both of them, it's like, wow, how did that go in? I mean, it's perfect placement on both. Mikey Rose still directing traffic out there.
I think he still directs traffic when he's not out there.
I would say so. Saw him one day in the food line. James tried to cut in front of him, and he directed him back behind him.
I can believe that. James is captain. He's got to listen to him, too.
Right. And, you know, that's the situation I think about these guys. I mean, one from England, one from Ireland. Wow, you can't imagine them ever being separated. I mean, they are just so close one to another. So I'm sure it will be a lifelong friendship.
I'm positive. Something else Young Harris does that a lot of us will take for granted, not pay attention to, and it is something that my brother-in-law mentioned at halftime when I was talking to him, was just the sheer amount of talking that the Young Harris players do amongst themselves on the field, and the sheer amount of communication, the constant chatter back and forth.
Right.
He and I are both like, if we could ever get our high school squads to do that, we might be better than what we are. But it's for some reason, it's a learned skill.
It is, and it's very important. And it don't matter what team sport it is, you've got to have that verbal communication. I was impressed today. I came to the lacrosse alumni games, and I got to watch it from down on the field where it felt like it was about 9 degrees. But anyway, it was a good vantage point to be watching it and to listen to the communication, both the men and the women. You know, it was very obvious how the communication, and it was from one end of the field to the other.
And you've got to have it, otherwise everything breaks down. Mikey was looking for his fourth there.
Wouldn't that be something?
We're about to have a substitution. Manis and Costa and Paul all about to re-enter the match. We got clock stop. I'm going to have a yellow card issued. I believe that's going to – I think that's going to go to Tim Young, but it may be Val. Maybe Val Feeney picked up the yellow.
Yep, it's going to be on Val. Good sportsmanship. They both shook hands, the opposing player, and shook it off. And
oh, yeah, it's just hard play.
Forward, just hard play.
It's part of the game.
Heater feels good, don't it?
It does. No, Tommy, that's one of those cards. It's a yellow card from playing hard. It's, as a coach, it's a card you don't mind a player picking up. It's not like a yellow card from a player back talking a referee or kicking a ball away, from a dead ball position for, delaying the restart of a game for useless purposes. Those are the type of cards that'll drive coaches absolutely nuts.
Right. And we don't mean to drive anybody nuts that might be listening in by talking about how good the heat feels. It just feels good.
It does.
Yeah. John, feel good? Ladies, heat feels good?
No complaints from the ladies.
No complaint from the ladies. So, everybody's in agreement. Heat feels good.
And again, we would like to thank the sports information staff for staying outside so we can enjoy the heat.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember a lacrosse game, John, back in February or March last year. It was so cold, man. I'm thinking it was probably teens out there.
Last winter was an odd winter, Tommy.
Yes,
it was much like this summer. You know how it stayed so hot for so long past the normal time?
Mm-hmm.
Well, winter did the same thing last year. It stayed cold much longer than normal last year.
And, our family down below us, it was almost like me and John were the only two people up here, and it just almost seemed like they were angry with us, like he should take his camera and I should take my mic and that we should come down on the field and be with them. But we just felt it was to our advantage to stay up here, right, John?
It's a much better vantage point for the camera.
It is. You see better. No doubt.
Again, if we've got a wealthy benefactor listening that wants to donate some high quantity of funds for a new press box, I'm sure we can get a name on it for you. And
absolutely.
We can have heat and air and enough room for sports information and us.
And a good vantage of the double knobs looking back that way.
We'll be able to see our own scoreboard.
Always a classic shot if you look on YouTube or you watch the movie Trouble with the Curve, that some of it was filmed here.
Right there at Zell Miller Field.
Yeah, and looking back at the double knobs, there's a ball hit to right field. Right fielder comes in, and you see that shot of the double knobs behind, and you're just like, wow, that is so awesome.
Saba with an ambitious strike there. He knew he was about to be subbed off. He was going to take his chance from 40 out.
Coming in for Young Harris, number
Wouldn't you be sure that Young Harris
Lopez.
baseball still probably uses that movie as a recruiting tool?
I would.
30,
I would too.
Paul Young.
Big stuff. Burnsy coming out. Just good to see him go back out there. Came out with the head injury. So obviously.
He's got a hard head.
Yeah, he does. Saba comes out.
Burnsy, the old man of the team.
All the lads always stylish haircuts. Mehdi Hadan, the team barber.
I haven't seen Mehdi tonight, other than the pregame ceremonies.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, is he nursing a little bit of a strain that they just don't want to try to?
It could be. Could be the same thing with him as it is with Jamesy.
They did bring him up to the line. Coach had a talk with him, but I think that was in that time period that we clicked off some goals real quick and maybe decided, let's think better of this.
Not worth the chance.
Right.
Not worth the risk.
Paul Young down in the heap. Paul, a great young man. We had Paul actually in the broadcast booth with us last year during basketball doing halftime stats for us. He is a communications major. Told me he was going to intern this summer with CNN. So good job for him.
Yeah. Wish him fortune. Good fortune in the future. He's not far from being married, from what I understand. He is engaged. His fiance was with him for the pregame ceremony. So wish him good luck with that. He's going to find out that's the hardest job he's ever had.
That's right.
Takes a lot of work to make a marriage last.
Yeah. You know, John kind of.
It's not just on one side, that's on both sides.
John kind of quizzing me about some of my missing in action games, and I said, you know, my wife has done a lot of social planning for me on soccer nights. I always find that a lot of my happiness depends on her happiness. And I told her that, made mention that she sometimes is a little bit of an odd case, and his reply was, well, she married you, she would obviously have to be a little bit odd. So, to which I agreed.
Well, I'm fortunate enough that when I get to come over to these and my wife wants to join, we've got the old cross country trail, and she likes to go walking on that for an hour or so, and so she uses that opportunity to come over here, walk on the trail, and then catch a little bit of soccer. And
well,
you know, a lot of times we'll go pick up some dinner or something after a game after the match.
Well, my wife, who dearly loves softball, I tried to get her to go over to the scrimmage. Young Harris play in Georgia Highlands, a junior college out of Cartersville. Won the first one 2-0. I don't know what the second one. I'm sure it's over by now.
Macaulay King calling for a substitution. He sat down right away. He's felt something pull.
Yeah, let's get him out. We don't need him. We definitely need him come peach belt time. But she said, oh, it's too cold to go. And my response was, now, if our granddaughter, who's a up-and-coming young softball player, I said, how cold would it have to be for you to miss one of her games? In which there was no reply, because I knew what the reply would be. It would be infinity. It wouldn't matter how cold it was. But
speaking of cold, I'm sure they're feeling it because the rain's coming down again.
Yeah. Yep, it's coming down. It looks like our tent could go airborne here in a minute.
It is getting rather windy.
Yeah, they don't have it anchored down with the sandbags like they do sometimes, which I'm sure they did this on the fly.
Coming in for Young Harris, number 2, Carl Brandstrom.
Bernsey replacing Macca there.
Oh, pass coming down to Mikey. Couldn't quite get to it.
Great ball from Danny. Just a touch too much for Mikey.
How would you rate Micah's passing ability with the great ones you've seen here over the years?
As far as like a long ball like that?
Yeah.
Oh, he's tops.
He's the best.
Yeah,
he's
top of the class with that.
Right.
It really does take a special touch to be able to pick somebody out on a 70, 80-yard run dead on their foot. And he's able to do it not just once or twice, but all match long if he wanted to. Crowd's starting to thin out a little now, Tommy.
It is. It was a good crowd. I hadn't heard an estimate, but I'm sure at peak it was a good crowd. How many people we had on YouTube tonight, John? Hard to say. We know a couple of our regulars didn't watch it on YouTube tonight because they were here.
Exactly.
And we're glad they're here. Made a journey across the Great Pond to see our lads. And it's been a good night. It's been all Young Harris. We lead 6-1. Mikey Rowe with a hat trick. Couple for Carlos Gomez. And Micah with his first goal of the season.
Offside whistle.
We want to, again, in case you're just joining us, congratulations to Coach King and our women's soccer team, as they, for the second year in a row, have qualified for the Peach Belt tournament.
Yes, big congratulations, Coach King, in his first season here with the Mountain Lions. Able to get some couple of wins toward the end of the season and get qualified. Hopefully they can pick up another win or two in the tournament as well.
Would be great, and Coach King really didn't have a chance to get his stamp on his recruiting class. He'll be able to do that this year.
And that'll be a straight red.
Yeah.
No, just a caution.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. $80 people. All right.
And good crowd online, too.
Yeah. Good crowd online.
5 minutes remaining in this match, Tommy.
Young Harris leads 6-1. Been all Mountain Lions tonight, John.
Definitely.
Been a good one. Here at the YHC Soccer and Lacrosse Field, where one of those rare times that games both squads have played here today, lacrosse and soccer.
Yes. You know what else has become a rare time is when both of the soccer squads play at the field on the same day.
Yeah, it don't happen much. Happened frequently last year.
I hope the Peach Belt will take a look at that and maybe do something next season for that. I mean, you're already having to set the field up. Why not have both of your squads play at home on the same day?
I'm kind of a newbie coming into this. I mean, last year was really the first year that I have really been around, been involved. But why so few teams in men's? Has it always been this way? I'm sure it hasn't, had it?
I honestly couldn't tell you, Tommy. I don't know.
Has it been 6 for a while? I mean, has it been this way 6 for a long time? Or do you remember any of the other schools? I mean, you would think Columbus State, who just a great women's program. Same thing with Georgia College. Do you remember them having programs?
No, I don't.
You don't? So this has been this way for a while.
I mean, in my recent memory, yes.
And another question I would have on that I don't fully understand is Title IX. I guess you fill it in. You fill it in with some other sports, some things like that. Does Title IX flip back the other way? I mean, I've always wondered about that.
Well, in theory, Title IX is supposed to be for equity, and you can't spend more on the men's program than you can the women's program, or you can't, things of that nature.
Right.
And I know one place that